Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast Nine podcast. My name's Stephen, joined by Connor, Charlie, and Luke once again. It has been a long time since we last uploaded. The lads are finishing college, and then we're working stuff we kind of forgot about a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to just review the Premier League season quickly, like just do the top four and what happened there on the last day, and then we'll do a Europa League review, and then finally we'll review last Saturday night's game, the Champions League final. So we'll start off. And basically, before the last time we did a podcast, I think relegation was confirmed and City had won the title. So it's mainly top four. So on the last day, so Liverpool went into the last day needing just to better Leicester's result, and Chelsea were the same. They did the better and more results. Liverpool handily. We'll start with them. They beat Palace 2-0, two Sadio Mane goals. Secured third for us in the end. Connor, just like all things considered, like last 10, like we were before we went unbeaten in 10 games, we were 8th in the league. It was the 28th of March, I think. And then we got 8 wins and 2 draws to get third. Like, do you think, like, obviously the expectations at the start of the season were like, look, we want to win the league again. But well, all things considered, the injuries, how bad it got, like, I think it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, even I think when we got the Van Dijk injury, and we had a few more injuries kind of shortly after that, and we were kind of expecting to we won't be getting the title now, we'll just settle for top four. And then it kind of became a reality that we might not get top four at all. And then obviously it got to the stage then, as you said, on the 28th of March. And I was kind of like 50-50. I knew that Leicester would slip up, and I knew Chelsea would slip up as well. I didn't think they would slip up as much as they did. But I think if you look at Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, the way that they sort of stepped up and they formed a good partnership for those last 10 games, I think a lot of credit has to go to them. I mean, like they're probably, before this season started, like they probably would have been like League One quality centre backs, I would have said. And then for them to step up and did what they did, I think is very, very good. And like finishing third, like I'd take that any day now.
Yeah, Reece was playing the conference last season, and that was in Germany with Stuttgart. So yeah, I mean, I think the run we went on was actually really good. Like, especially with the 5 wins in a row at the end, I thought that was really good. Like, the fact that you can just string 5 wins together, and also we hadn't done a podcast on it, but the United win, I just want to talk about that. Personally, that was a very good win. Firmino double, by the way. Connor eventually got it right, even though he didn't predict exactly for the United game. But yeah, I think that win kind of, I think the feeling was that, look, if we could beat United, top four is definitely on. If we lost to them, I think that was going to be that. So to go to the Old Trafford, like, because then we hadn't won since 2014 or 2013. That was really impressive. I think, like, United, obviously they rested their team against Leicester, their full team, to make sure they were fully fit for us, and then they ended up losing 4-2. Which look, they felt that they probably could, finish their top four hopes, but I think that showed a lot of character as well. Also, the last 3 games, like, we haven't even touched on it. The Allison goal, like, that was ridiculous. Like, I remember watching it, I just screamed. I couldn't believe it. I get like moments like that. And the Burnley game was pretty straightforward. They didn't offer much. They had a few chances, but we eventually pulled away. And then last day of the season was just a straightforward win. So I think, yeah, all in all, like, considering the games we had towards the end of the season, it was actually a really good running and really good performances from the team. And I think we need to take that to next season with everyone back and have a fully fit forward squad. Like, Thiago was brilliant towards the end of the season. Firmino looks like he picked up form. Mane looks like he figured out how to control football. Salah obviously just being Salah, and like Trent, Robertson, everyone's starting to play well. So carry out the next season into the pre-season and get everyone back and then mount the title charge. Also, just we'll do this during the summer. A few signings will be needed as well. I think we already got Kanate. That's a good one, centre back. But I think we need a few signings further up the pitch, including Kylian Mbappe. My resources are telling me that it's a possibility. Trust me, just wait on it. But yeah, that's enough for Liverpool. I just want to touch on Leicester, and I think like that's 2 years in a row they've bottled it. They were in the top 4 for like 200 something days. I can't remember the exact number. Like Charlie, like that, like Rodgers again. I know they won the FA Cup, which is brilliant, right? We can touch on that as well. But back to back, they've bottled it. Like they were miles ahead of us. Is there just something wrong with the mentality of that team when it comes down to it, or do you think the fixtures just didn't fall right for them?
I think once you're in that position, you have to play it smart in order to stay there, and they just didn't do that. I know they beat us, but the team we played was horrendous. Like I thought they beat us comfortably, and we were actually in the game, to my surprise. So it's like this is happening again and again, and you can say, okay, they won the FA Cup, but like you can't really excuse what they did. Like they were so far ahead. You need to just keep picking up your points, and they did it last season as well. So they clearly haven't learned any lessons really. I think the defining game really was, I can't remember who it was, but they lost like 4-0 to someone in Newcastle. Yeah, they got trounced by Newcastle at home, and they had won that game. Obviously, I think they would have been in the top 4 at the end. And Spurs, you would have expected them to beat Spurs at home as well, considering all the news about Kane, and like they don't even have a proper manager, Spurs, to be honest. I don't even think Ryan Mason knows what he's doing that much, to be honest. So you would have expected Leicester to get the win there, but obviously they didn't. Bale got 2 goals, and yeah, they're in the Europa League again, but obviously their fans are going to be happy with the FA Cup. But if they hadn't have got that FA Cup, they'd be looking at that this season as a major disappointment, considering where they were.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think if you look now, we'll touch on Chelsea now, and we'll talk about how they've had a crazy few weeks. But if you look at the top 4 now, like the top 4 that got in, those 4 teams, I can't see anyone getting above them in the league next season. So I think that's a real missed opportunity last couple of seasons where all the teams were in transition. Like City are going to be top 2. Liverpool could win the league. United are not finishing outside the top 4. I know people are negative, but you're just not. You're going to add some players. You're going to get in there somehow. And Chelsea, with the right investment, they could win the league. I don't think they will, but they could. So I think that was their last opportunity. I think the Tottenham game was so disappointing, man, especially what was going on at Villa Park when Villa Park were beating Chelsea, like leading the game, and just to let it slip like that, like it was just. And honestly, like I don't even know why I'm surprised. It's literally Rodgers, man. Like he has it in him every year, man. He has that in him. He had it in him at Liverpool, and now he has it in Leicester, just bottling it. And look, I mean, them to be in the Europa League for a club like that, it's still big. It's a lot of money. They could go far. They could win it. But like they were in the top 4 for ages, man. They were cert. People were saying they're guaranteed. So yeah, really poor from them. Just to move on to Chelsea now, who got 4th in the end. They lost 2-1 against Villa. Really, that was ropey for them. Like they probably thought they could do enough by getting a draw, or whatever. But they were poor against Villa, but they managed to sneak in. Just on reflection now of the season for them, getting the top 4. Luke, like the fact that like when Lampard left, Tuchel came in. We'll go into more detail when we talk about Champions League final. But Tuchel coming in to get top 4, like that's a very good achievement in itself. Like despite losing to Villa, like he came in there first day. He seemed to get everyone on board, and they look a real force now.
Yeah, I think there's been a real shift in mentality at Chelsea. I mean, you don't see Tuchel coming in and saying this is a process and all that shit. He's coming in, and his main goal is just to win matches. And I think the turnaround in defensive fortunes for Chelsea has been unbelievable, really. I think they've only conceded 2 goals once since Tuchel's came in. That's pretty unbelievable. But like Rudiger has been insane since Tuchel's come in. He's turned him into a completely different player. Kante has found his best form again. Jorginho's very important in that team, keeping possession. And I saw a guy on Twitter say that Sarri installed like very good, like they know how to keep possession very well, and they never lost that, seeing as, you know, not many of them have left the club over the previous years, so they're brilliant in possession. I don't think you'll see many teams keep the ball that well against City all year, really, but they did it 3 times and they beat them all 3 times. And they have great records in big games, so Tuchel is doing a really good job there, and obviously win the Champions League is a massive achievement. He deserves a new contract now.
Yeah, I think like Tuchel was such a top manager. Like, also I think the Rudiger or whatever you want to say it, Rudiger. Like, he's every manager that comes in like mid-season, there seems to be like a player that isn't playing seems to like get on well with the new manager and starts to play more. And Rudiger is definitely one of those players. I thought especially in the Champions League final, was very good and it's been very solid all season. Especially in that game Leicester beat Chelsea, that it was in the second last game of the season at Stamford Bridge that Chelsea won. Like, he was so good in that game. And yeah, I think Thiago Silva, he's going to stay. But I think if they can add someone else alongside them, because Thiago Silva is not going to be able to play a lot. So yeah, they're definitely, like, they don't concede at all, and that's why you saw in the Champions League final. Like, once they score one, they don't lose. I think isn't that a stat like they've gone up 1-0, they haven't lost a game on the 2? But yeah, I think I saw a stat like that. So like, obviously it's testament to the defensive shape. But yeah, so the finals. I'm just going to go through the final standings before we move on. Obviously it's Man City 1. No one cares. Oh, I've just clicked off it. How does that work? Bro, it keeps. There we go. Right. So Man City finished first with 86 points. United second, 74. Liverpool third. Chelsea fourth. Leicester fifth. West Ham are going to Europe. They only finished 2 points off top 4, to be fair to them. Tottenham get the Conference League place. Arsenal finished 8th. To be fair, like, Arsenal they only finished 6 points off top 4, so it was a horrible season, but it wasn't as bad as they probably felt. Leeds, very good from Leeds. New promoted side in the top half. Now, there's this team in 10th. I don't know where they're at, like in England. Do you know what I mean? Like, where they're based, but they're called Everton, and they finished 10th. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't understand that. They won the league in October. So, don't know, that's a weird one. Don't know what they're doing at 10th. I thought they already won the league. Aston Villa 11th, Newcastle, and then the rest of the teams are relevant, with Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield going down. Burnley still managing to stay up. I actually hate them so much, they need to go. But yeah, overall, like, it was low-key, like, I'll be honest, obviously the Liverpool situation didn't help. It was such a boring season, man. There wasn't even a title race or anything. Like, it was just, there wasn't even a relegation battle. Like, it was a bit boring of a season. I'm happy it's over, but we are going to do Liverpool and Man United ratings. I'm guessing we're not going to do the whole squad, or do you want to do the whole squad? We'll do Liverpool first. I don't think we'll have time to do the whole squad, but I'll get the Liverpool squad up anyway. So yeah, we'll do Liverpool first, then we'll do United, and then that'll lead us nicely into the Europa League bit. But yeah, I think a lot of Liverpool's reigns are going to be poor, bar a few like Salah and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll bother sharing the screen. Now I'll just say it. I'll just stay there and we'll just run it. So I'm guessing it's gonna be me and Connor predominantly, right?
Are we doing like 5 as an average season?
6, no, 6. Like, 6 is average.
6 is, yeah.
6 is average.
Grand, yeah.
Or we go around and like you say like the player and everyone gives their rating, then we like agree on one of them. Like
All
just
right. Yeah, I'll have to be probably quick. Okay. Allison Becker. I'll go first. I want to say 7.5. I think maybe a bit higher. 7.5. But I think he was poor in the middle of the season. Obviously, he had some family grievances and stuff like that. But yeah, 7.5. Charlie.
Yeah, I was gonna give him a 6, but taking into consideration like his personal circumstances, I'll up him to a 7.
All right, Connor.
I was gonna give him a 5, but purely because of the personal circumstances and that goal against West Brom, I'm gonna give him a 7. Like if you think about it, like if he didn't score that, like we wouldn't be in the Champions League.
To be fair, I think it's only Leicester City matches he hasn't been that he wasn't good. But yeah, I see it. His
Yeah, but
distribution.
he's still the amount of goals he's conceded.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, Luke. Less than United, by the way. We'd rather
I think he's had a few poor mistakes this season, so I was going to give him a 6, but that clutch goal against West Brom just ups him to a 7, I think.
Well, we'll go with 7 then. 7.
Yeah, we got 7.
We are not going around for this one. Adrian, 0. Get out of my club. Next one. Kelleher. I'm going to give Kelleher 7.58. Like, I don't think he's played bad in any of the games he's played in. Like, you saw him against Ajax. He was very good. He looks far better than he was. Connor, sorry. What do you think of Kelleher? Like, what would you give him?
I mean, I'd possibly give him a 7 as well. I wouldn't give him a really high rating just purely because we haven't seen him that much. Like I know he's been playing like Champions League and stuff like that, but like he definitely is. He's looking a lot better. Like and he sits him into that number 2 spot, and he's someone that like Klopp can actually rely on him now in the like for cup competitions and stuff like that.
Yeah, just to be quick, we just all go with 7 because we have so many players to get through, especially with United. We'll go with 7, right? Now, Van Dijk, we're not going to rate because for obvious reasons. We'll go with Gomez. We'll go Gomez. He played a few extra games. I'd say 7.5 for Gomez. If you base off the games, when Van Dijk got injured, I thought he really stepped up well. And then he did his knee in English training where he was on his own and there was no contact. But anyway, yeah. What do you think, Charlie? What do you think, Joe Gomez?
I'd probably just give him a 6, really. Like was he on for that Villa game? I think he was. He was horrendous.
Okay. That's Adrian Tax. Adrian Tax.
I mean, there's no way he should be getting over an average season, should he? Like, realistic.
No, it's based off. Okay, fair enough. But like, it's based off the games he's played.
I think you have to take into account how many games he was available for, though. Like it's not really a great season if you can't make yourself available for over half.
He did his knee in England.
See, the
but that automatically makes it a poor season.
Okay, fine, 6. We'll go.
It's not his fault that it's a poor season, but it is. I'd say 6 as well.
Kabak 6. He was solid.
Yeah, 6 probably is average enough. Like,
Simicast played 0 games, so nope. Robertson.
I'd probably say 7.5. Like
I'd say 7. See, he was.
I'd say 6 for that. He's been bang average this season.
He still got 7.
Compared to other seasons he's had, like 2 seasons ago or last season.
Yeah, you can't really compare to this season, like
last season or the season before. Like I'd say it would have been close to a 10.
Yeah, I'd say 6.57 because the first half of the season he was like performing at 8.5, and then he fell off.
I think your problem was Simcast is just shit, so he had to play every game. So yeah, he was available for every game, so I'd probably give him a 7.
Okay, we'll go with 7.
Yeah, we give him
Ben
7.
Davies, hopefully you get out of the basement soon, brother, or we're not going to rate you on this one. Matip, I couldn't give a fuck. Honestly, I'm sick of that prick. Like he literally cannot make himself fit for 2 games in a row. He's useless, man. I hate him. We'll give what games did he even play this season? Like,
I'll give him a 4. I'll give him a 4. Like,
I'll give him a 4 as well, man. Yeah, we'll go 4. Charlie, Luke, if you have any like interjections, you can just come in. Williams 7, 6.
Nah, I wouldn't give him that.
I give him a 6.
I'd say 5. Like he didn't do anything.
You have to give him credit for the running. Like he came in.
He knocked you out of the cup. It was horrendous at Old Trafford.
That's true.
Actually, yeah. In fairness, I think the running does. But I'll give him 6. Like probably average enough.
Because like you have to take into consideration, like he wasn't prepared to play. He's young still. Like to come into a team like that, 6 is fair. Phillips, if we gave him anything above a 7,
10.
No, we're giving him a 7. So I'll tell you what, he does all the simple things good, but he's actually shit. Like he's really bad.
Yeah, we move on then. We move on. I agree, 7.
Okay, this one, Trent. Now, if we were doing this in end December, I would have said 5.
2.
What? Are you on?
No, like at the start of the season, not now.
Nah, he wasn't that bad. He got injured, COVID, it's fine. Right, but I'd say since he got
7.5.
Since he got left out of the England squad, he's been the best right back in the league, in my opinion. Apart from Madrid. Madrid was a bad game all around. We'll forget about that. But I thought he was, even the home leg against Madrid. Again, in the home leg against Madrid, he should have had 4 assists. Like he literally carried us that game. And Mane and Firmino decided that they don't have any working legs. So it's very hard to give him above us. What do you guys think?
7.
I'd say 7 as well. I think
I would agree on 7.
Yeah, Nico Williams, don't care. Fabinho, I'm giving him an 8 personally.
Yeah, he's solid. Even when he was in centre back.
When he plays DM, we look unreal. Now, this is a controversial one. Wijnaldum. Personally, his availability and like the fact that he has been good at parts, I'd probably give him a 7 roughly, but I think a 7 is a fair rating because I don't think Liverpool fans make it he's been bad. He hasn't been bad. He just does what he does. So I'm going to go with 7. What do you guys think?
I'll probably give him a 6, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I was going to say 6.5.
Okay, fine. We'll do 6.5.
Yeah.
Now, the best midfielder on the planet, Thiago Alcantara.
I'll give him a 9.
No. No, in fairness, if we had to put the season into context, got COVID, then that little rat Richarlison, who got about 4 goals in the end of the season, he's rubbish. By the way, you're shit if you're listening. You're actually wank at football.
I'd say he is listening actually right now.
He broke his. Actually, no, he searched up his name on fucking Twitter. The prick. He probably does. Put in a clip of me doing this, and he'll reply. Search up his name, the loser. Right. The 3-month injury. He came into a team that was eventually was on the verge of collapsing anyway. So, and he was playing okay. Like I don't think he was playing bad. I was gonna give him a 5 out of 10 before the running. But the running last 10 games, I think he's been our best player, in my opinion, alongside Salah and Trent. So I'm closer to a 7, considering he got a very bad injury that wasn't his fault. I think a 7's fair. Like, he got multiple man of the match awards. Why are you smiling? That's a fair mark.
I'd give him 6.5.
I agree with Luke.
That's poor.
How about we go down the middle, do 6.75 then?
Okay, fine. James Milner, 7. Just solid again. Wait, no, sorry. 6.
I'd say 6. I'd say 6 for average.
What am I on about? I'm an idiot. No. Poor Naby. I'm sorry, Naby, but I'm not rating you because you haven't played for about 4 months.
2.
I feel bad for
4.
Why are your hamstrings made of cheese strings, you bellend? Right. Hendo. I give Hendo Henderson never really played bad.
Yeah, I know, but he missed loads of matches here.
Yeah, I give him
probably, I'd say, 6.5, I was going to say.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, 5. 4. Curtis Jones.
I don't think he's great.
6.
Yeah.
Average 6.
Yeah, maybe 6, yeah. Shaqiri, don't care. Woodburn, couldn't give a fuck. Now, the Bobby Dazzler, 10 out of 10. What a season for Firmino.
No, to be fair, I was going to give a what?
I give him a 6 or a 7.
I say 7, to be honest.
6.
Oh, actually,
You can't
to be
give him
fair-
higher than 6.
Listen, he bagged against
No,
I
United
don't
twice.
care. It's a woeful season.
By the way, that performance at Old Trafford deserves a 10 out of 10. Like, personally, that's how it is. But I'd say maybe 6.5 because, like, to be fair,
No,
he has-
I'd say 6, to be fair. If I'm being honest, because I'd say he'd be well below average, and then he's kind of up to average with the
Okay.
running.
Mane 4.
Nah, leave Residio off. He's
Mane 4. He's not getting a 3. He's been shit.
You can't
Mbappe
give Mane a
is
4 and Firmino a 6.5.
Because Mane is meant to be the best left winger in the world. Firmino was on the decline anyway. Like, Firmino hasn't been overly bad. Like, he's just doesn't score. It's his finishing. That's the problem. Mane's all-round play has been fucking wank. Like, the guy cannot control the ball up until recently. Mo Salah, 10 out of 10.
9.
10 out of 10. 30 odd
Actually, yeah, he
goals.
did it.
30 odd goals, carrying a team that was shit. Just the best player to exist. The Egyptian king. Jota, 7, 7.5.
Give him
Yeah,
an
probably
8. He's
7.
pretty inevitable.
Yeah, he is pretty inevitable. Origi. Okay, now moving on. Man United. We'll do Man United. I'm not rating Origi. I'm not. I refuse to rate that fucking idiot. Honestly. We can move on to
What
United
about
now.
Shaq, mate?
Oh, I
We
skipped
didn't rate
him.
him.
I
Didn't rate
skipped him. He doesn't exist. He doesn't exist. I haven't seen him in about 4 months. So, yeah, we can move on to United now. So, Charlie, will I get it up? Do you want me to get it up? It's just easier.
Yeah, sure.
I think this is about to run out, so we'll just do a new one. Ooh. There you go, man. Please tell me your website has it. It does. Why are you not trying to get me to accept cookies? Oh, I like this layout. Right. Oh my
Right.
God, this is so good. De Gea.
I'd give him a 5. He disgraced himself in that penalty shootout.
Lucas.
I'd give him an average 6.
I'm guessing I'm just going to do Dino. The rest haven't played a lot. Dino.
5.
I'll just give him a 6, to be honest.
We'll go with average 6s. Come on, not be fair. Lindelof. To be fair, he hasn't even been awful.
Nah, this guy, man, he builds you up into thinking he's a good player, and then he just shits all over you when it's actually an important game. It's a 5 from me again. Like, this guy just can't perform when you need him to. In the final, he loses his man. He's a fucking liability at the back, and he needs to be replaced or sold because, like, realistically, we've known he's not good enough for time now.
Yeah, I'd also give him a 5. I think there was a time where Ollie was actually contemplating, like, actually, he may have actually thought he was actually good enough, but I think the final squashed those claims. So hopefully we now get a centre back this summer.
Why?
I'd give Boy a 6 because there was a point in the season where he was actually very good. He actually was winning us some points back there, but obviously the injuries kicked in and he wasn't great towards the end of the season, but I wouldn't say he was bad. So I'd give him a 6.
Yeah, I'd give Boy and Axel a 6 because the games they played there were all right, to be fair. Like, it's not their fault Ollie didn't rotate the team.
It's the pink boot, Marcus. The bloody pink boots. No, we'll skip Jones. Now, Slabhead.
I'd give Maguire a 7, to be fair, just because of availability.
He's been
I'd
good.
give him an 8, to be honest with you. So I think, like, if he's not in the team, you're shit.
Like,
Like,
my head's fucking massive. I'd sit on the edge of the box and just head things out.
I don't think Maguire's. I just don't think he's aggressive enough. Like, he doesn't make tackles enough for me.
He's like, okay. 7.5. He's been one of the better centre backs in the league. Delo hasn't played. I know he's on loan. By the way, he's awful. He's awful. Luke Shaw, 9 out of 10. The best left back in the league this season.
8. His running was poor, if we're being honest.
He's also looking a bit chunky.
He went off the boil a bit.
Yeah, go with 8. Go with 8. Luke, any objections?
I'd probably give him an 8.5 because he was world class for most of the season, but at the end he let himself down a bit.
So yeah, since it's 2-1, we're gonna go with 8, if that's okay, Luke. Tellez, this guy reeks. He's so bad. Oh my god, I warned you about this guy. He's terrible. I give him a 4.
Mate.
4.
No way.
4.
He was all right when he played.
4. 5. Come on, 5.
He hasn't been below average at all.
We gave Robertson a 7, and you're giving Tellez a 6, who's barely played.
Yeah.
No, 5.
Because he was always a bit fine. We'll give him a 5 just for you.
Right. Wan-Bissaka?
6.
He's just a bit average, isn't he?
Yeah. He can't attack.
Are we rating Brandon Williams?
No.
We gave Axel a 6, Mengi, and this guy called Fish. Now, midfielders. Oh, I'm just going to start one. Pogba. Now, my opinion is those goals he scored I don't know when they were, like December, January. Didn't he score a few screamers or something? But I think I'd give him a 7.
Yeah, I'd give him a 7 as well.
Yeah. He just unlocked our attack when we put him left wing.
Now, on the other hand, where was he? Look, we'll talk about the Europa League final, but he's still inconsistent. He's still a fraud. I'll give him a 7. I feel nice. Mata, are we up? Oh, Mata 5. Oh my god, he's so washed.
I agree with that.
Lingard. Oh, he's at West Ham. Yeah. Pereira's at Lazio.
I still say that he's the best player on the United roster, though, this season. Lingard.
He hasn't.
He probably is. I give him probably a 9.
Washed. This guy's finished. He's so bad.
5.
I'd give Fred a 5, honestly.
Yeah.
4.
I'd give McTominay the same.
Yeah, we'll go with McTominay the same.
Yeah.
Bruno.
They're the same guy. Really.
Bruno.
They're the same person.
I'm giving Bruno a 9.
Yeah, I was going to say
An 8. I think it's an 8 from me.
8.5.
I think this is 7.5.
Oh, Charlie, take it, right? No, we're going 8.5.
Nah, he didn't perform in any of the big games.
That is true, but like
Ahmad's special, but we won't rate him because he hasn't played a lot. So next we did Bruno there. So next is obviously Matic. Now, Nemanja Matic. What we saying? I'm thinking like 5.
Yeah, I'd give Matic a 5. He's been all right, but like his availability isn't great. He's just a bit washed, if we're being honest.
He's just below average, isn't he? Like he hasn't really done much at all.
Yeah.
I think when we came into the season, all he thought he could still play Matic and Pogba like he did in the run-in, but Matic, he kind of just let him down because he's quite old now and he just can't play multiple games in a week.
Van de Beek, I feel bad for the poor guy. Gonna have to give him a 4.
Yeah, I would say 4 or 5. He hasn't been good when he's played, let's be honest.
We said McTominay 5, correct?
Yeah.
Hannibal, 15 out of 10. He's gonna be sick. Now, Mr. Movement, Cavani. I'd give him an 8. I think he's been very good.
I'd give Cavani an 8 because like I would give him a 9, but his like availability hasn't been there, and there was a point in the season where it just looked like he was refusing to play. I don't know what that was about, but he's been very good since he's come back into the team.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to apologize in advance for this next one. It's Martial, and it's a 4 for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. he didn't play well and his availability has been bad. But he probably would have hit some sort of form if he hadn't have been injured. But obviously he was out for. He only played like a total of 16 games or something, so he didn't play much at all. But yeah, poor season.
Rashford.
6.
I'm saying no. That's incorrect. You have to give his numbers props. I know.
What do you mean? Did you watch Goldbridge player season reviews? He got a 6 as well. It's a warranted score. It's been atrocious for nearly every. Okay, he gets a goal and an assist, maybe.
I want to give him 6.5.
A horrific performance.
6.5. Because I think.
Did you watch the Europa League final?
I did, but you shit.
What did you think? What did you think?
If you look at the ratings, he's below average, but his goals and assists bring him up to average. I think.
Fine. Okay, fine.
6.
Greenwood, 6.
I'd give him a 6.5 because he did improve drastically towards the end of the season, but the first half of the season was very poor in terms of goals and assists. But his overall game was still quite good.
Yeah, I'd give him a 7 for that. I think his like creativity and his hold-up play has improved, even though his numbers haven't been as good as they were last season.
Okay, right. So that rounds off the United team. So speaking of the Europa League final, that happened last Wednesday. It ended 1-1 after extra time, and of course regular time. And penalty shootout went on for a while. Eventually, De Gea's penalty was saved by Rulli, and they lost 11-10 on penalties, and they are going trophyless again. For the 4th season in a row, which is very interesting. So on the game itself, going into it, I was of the impression that look, there's no way United lose. It's like this Villarreal team, they're good, but they're not amazing. Do you know what I mean? So, Charlie and Luke, Charlie first. I'm gonna let you take it away with this one. Rant as long as you want. Just yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was funny after the game, Rashford's interview, banging on about this process shite, and you just had to sit there and laugh. Like, and then you watch Chelsea, and they win the Champions League within 6 months of a manager being appointed with, and they were in a much worse situation than all, and we had to sit here and gulp up this shite from this academy lad whose performances have been nowhere near good enough that it's a process and they all believe in it. At what point do we say, right, this guy's not delivering, we've got to get rid of him? And I think we can blame Ollie. Yeah, his tactics were poor. I think Fred was injured, but I think he should have still played Mac Fred, considering he's played it for nearly the majority of the season. I think Pogba should have played on the left. I don't think Rashford should have played at all. We had no one off the bench. Rashford was horrendous again. He shouldn't have taken off Greenwood. He should have taken off Rashford. Cavani lost his legs. Again, we have a lack of depth. If Martial was in any way able to kick a ball, I think he should have been put on the bench. He should have brought on Ahmad earlier. He should have had Elanga on the bench. Like, there's so many issues that he just didn't address. His subs were too late. And I think blaming Ollie there, but we do have a lack of big game players as well. Like, I think like Rashford hasn't shown up in the big games. Bruno hasn't really showed up in the big games. Pogba was poor, if we're being honest. Like, he had an all right 20 minutes, but he didn't play as well as we know he can play. Cavani obviously did his job and scored, but he was isolated for much of the game. So I think, yeah, it was really disappointing, and it was quite embarrassing, to be honest. I mean, Villarreal, 7th in La Liga? They've pretty much no investment into that team. It's just a load of players that they get on the cheap, and because they have a great manager in Emery, who was kind of scapegoated at Arsenal, if we're being honest. Like, he was clearly a good manager. He was kind of abused for not being able to speak the language properly, if we're being honest. So yeah, he turned into a bit of a meme, but he's still a better coach than Ollie, and he's a better coach than most of the managers in the Premier League, if we're being honest. So yeah, it was disappointing, and like, we're gonna have to make some signings, but Ollie needs to fix up, man, because you're looking at all these other teams, and like, you don't see this shit. We go on with, we go behind in nearly every single game we play. We don't score in the first half at all. Like, it's just, it might be entertaining when we come back and we say, oh yeah, look at our mentality, but we couldn't come back in the final, could we? The game that actually mattered. So yeah, it was horrific.
Yeah, you're touching on Rashford there. Just on Pogba, like I know we obviously banter about it, but like all seriousness, like I just don't see what the hype is about. Like he's meant to be this world beater of a player. Like how many excuses can you make for this guy? Europa League final. He's playing against Parejo, who's 44. He's 44. He was in line for the vaccine last week. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm sorry, this guy, man, this Pogba fella. So, well, he should be playing DM. He should be playing left wing. No. He is a supposed world-class midfielder. You have to perform wherever you play. All the greats did. Your Zidanes, your Gerrards, Vieira, Lampards, Scholes. United midfielders, Scholes. Who else? Other great midfielders, Beckhams and all that. They performed no matter what. So like, I know, no, I'm not putting the blame on him because everyone was shit that night. Do you know what I mean? Apart from the odd, I think Wan-Bissaka was all right. To be fair. But yeah, but Luke on that one, like for Pogba, like how many excuses are you gonna make for him? And do you think it's just time now just to cut ties? You know, let Steven win because I said this since we were in third year. Yeah, like when we were 15, 14, whatever.
I think we have a serious decision to make because I think it might be time to maybe just let him go. I mean, he doesn't seem like keen on a new deal. We haven't opened any talks with him. He keeps coming out in the press. Well, his agent does anyway, saying he wants to leave. Just for me though, he seems to. I might get a bit of stick for saying this, but he's a bit of a moments player. I think, like
sure,
too many times he's had a poor game, and it's been overshadowed by the one pass or the one shot he scores. But like, I think this team is crying out for a midfielder that just gets the ball and he controls the game, like a Toni Kroos or even I don't know, like you could say Thiago did it for Bayern. Like
no. He's doing it for us. Stop. He's doing it for us. Relax.
Pogba, I just don't see him controlling the game. I think he gives the ball away a bit too much. He's trying to killer pass too many times. I think he needs to just keep it simple and like we need a midfielder like Jorginho for Chelsea who actually helps them keep possession because it'll make us a lot more dangerous team. Obviously, McFred don't help him out in that department, but I just think like Chelsea sold Hazard, they won the Champions League. Like if you sell your best player, it doesn't mean you're a finished club or anything, but I think it might be time to just maybe let him go because that's apparently what he wants and see what we can do without him.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Luke's described Bruno perfectly there, if I'm being honest, but he was actually talking about Pogba. Anyway, if they're talking about us signing Rice, that's no, like he might be a good defensively. He can't pass. Let's be honest. He doesn't improve us whatsoever. Like, and people think if we get Rice, we can now play two number 8s with Bruno and Pogba. Bruno doesn't want to play number 8. He plays up front most of the game. Pogba, I think he prefers the left wing position, to be honest. Like, he's been coming out in the media and saying, yeah, he loves playing there. It gives him freedom. I think he should have been played there in the final, as I said. But like, we didn't sign him to be a left wing. I think if we did let him go, we could easily bring in someone like Grealish and they'd probably do a better job on the left than even Pogba did. But obviously 100%. We need a midfielder as well.
You know who else? Yeah. You know who should get? Listen. See, Ollie...
Someone like Penali.
Let me break it down. Let me break he solved Manchester United, right? I'm going to break it down for you real quick, right? So, Ollie seems obsessed. I don't understand why he's moved away from the 4-3-3, but he seems more obsessed with the double pivot now. I think if you could get someone, a real enforcer in there, right, a real like Ndidi or whoever in there to make tackles, and then you know who you need. You're saying someone who can control the game, Luke. Brozovic from Inter. He will go yourself for peanuts because Inter need the money, and he's a phenomenal player. Like he's very good. He's still only 28, 27, and he controls games. I know people say, "Oh, Serie A slow." Shut up, right? But he's a very good player, and I think he would suit United a lot. For me, the Rice thing does not work at all. I don't see how that works. Like, why? That's a waste of 80 million or whatever he's going to go for. Like, he doesn't suit you as at all, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my thing on it. I think you do need someone in there who's going to control the game. Bruno, as you said, look, I'm a big fan of Bruno, actually, but he needs to stop playing up front. Like, I saw him do it. I know that might be Ollie's tactics, because they're playing 4-4-2 or whatever. They're playing like 2 walls of 4, and he wanted to have 4 up there to break it down. And then no one was coming short. Charlie, you were talking about it on Twitter the other day, and no one was coming short for it. And that's what kind of resulted in you not being able to break them down. But yeah, it's a weird one, definitely with Pogba. I think he should cut ties, in my opinion. Get heaps of money from him and just have a go rebuild. Not rebuilding the squad, but straightening the squad. And the first 11 more important. But yeah, on the game itself, right? Villarreal obviously got that goal. The defending for their goal, Jesus Christ! How is it allowed fall to him in that area? I'm sorry. Like, in fairness, I give Maguire a lot of stick. He probably gets rid of that. To be fair, like, he probably does. Like, he gets his big head on it, and it's away. I know, Charlie, you were a bit of a you criticised Maguire a good bit. Like, the last few weeks kind of make you realise that he is. You should appreciate him more, and like, he actually is. He makes you better defensively.
I think it's trash versus garbage, to be honest. Like, look at Lindelof.
By the way, you can talk about Lindelof. Boy sucks, by the way.
Boy played decent to be. Lindelof's a fucking puff pastry.
Yeah,
like,
he
gets violated by everyone he plays. Like, Chris Wood, when we played Burnley, he just violated our centre backs multiple times, just bullied them. And he didn't even have anyone up front with him. It was Brownhill who was playing off him that game. And Wood just made a show of our 2 centre half. And then Maguire, you say he got it away. He got bullied by Tarkowski. He also made a mistake for Calvert-Lewin's goal from a set piece. We conceded from, like, horrendous goals against Tottenham because of Maguire. So, like, he's not fault-free either. Let's be honest. Not. And they're saying Ramos wants to leave. I think we should bring him in immediately. No questions asked. He might be slightly past it, but so was Thiago Silva, wasn't he?
It's not. He's not slightly past it, because centre back. Like, look at Thiago Silva. But that guy gets injured every second game now. Like, he's full on washed, man. Like,
yeah, but same with Silva. Like, it's a risk worth taking, in my opinion, because he's still miles better than every centre back we employ.
Would it be for free? Would it?
I think so. Yeah.
Go get Varane.
I just want to come in on our centre backs for a second. I think Lindelof, we've seen him get bullied in the air multiple times, but I just think it's interesting. Mourinho was on Sky and he was talking about how Lindelof, he's great at everything except he can get bullied in the air. Like, where's the scouting going on here? You signed that lad, bro. So why are you chatting about his weaknesses when you're supposed to look at this before you sign him and think, is this guy going to have to deal with a lot of high balls? Yes. So why are we signing him? He's obviously not good enough if he can't compete in the air. If he can get bullied, any centre back that can get bullied in the air, no, he's not good enough. So I don't know what the way this club is run is just shambolic. I mean, where's the scouting going on here? If he's not good in the air, he shouldn't be signed. Like,
yeah, I agree. Look,
it's just shambolic.
Good in the air. Get Nat Phillips. 20 million. We'll take it. You can take him off our hands. We don't have to deal with
but if you look at Blind, like, there's a deal of intelligence involved as well. Like, you have to position yourself correctly to allow yourself not to get bullied. And Lindelof doesn't do that either. Like, Blind was fault-free when he played at the back with Smalling. And he was I don't even think he was over 6 foot. So, like, you can say bullied in the air and all this. There's a degree of positional intelligence involved as well. And Lindelof gets caught out a lot. I mean, against Fulham, that 17-year-old Carvalho lad, he shoulder bars Lindelof, and Lindelof he nearly fell over, and then De Gea made a decent save. But, like, if you're getting bullied by a 17-year-old who's about 4 foot, like, there's not much hope for you.
So is that why Ollie prefers Lindelof and Maguire? Because he knows Lindelof is decent on the ball and, like, he can pick a pass, but he can have Maguire there with him who can kind of counteract his lack of aerial ability. And is that why he plays those two most of the time?
I think Maguire and Lindelof are played because we don't have a midfielder who can progress the ball. I think Lindelof and Maguire are both decent on the ball.
Yeah.
I don't think Toonsavi and Boy are as good on the ball as those two. So I think their main aim is just to progress the ball through the lines for us, because I don't see Fred and McTominay doing it at all. That's why I think we need a midfielder that can just drop deep and collect the ball and do that for them.
Yeah. I don't know, like, man, you need centre backs. Like, I'd say you definitely need one. I think, like, obviously you'll get Varane. I think he wants to leave, or Ramos or whoever. But on the overall performance, obviously Cavani came back. The penalties. I want to talk about the keeper situation. De Gea has not saved one penalty in his last 4 before that, and Henderson saved 8 of his last 19 before that penalty shootout. Like, is Ollie that stupid? Like, surely he knew that those stats. Why has he persisted with De Gea there?
I don't think you can judge a goalkeeper off penalty saved, if we're being honest.
No, but like,
yeah, he probably should have put Dean Henderson on, if we're being honest. Like,
yeah.
But he was never going to do it, was he? Like, that would involve a degree of risk and a degree of bottle. So Ollie didn't do it. If that was someone like Van Gaal, I'm sure Henderson would have been put onto the pitch, because De Gea's record is absolutely atrocious, if we're being on it. Like, that's, I reckon if I was in there, I would have saved 1 out of 11. Like, most people in off the street would save 1 out of 11 penalties, if we're being on it. Like,
Yeah.
and he didn't really get near any of them. Like, and you saw there was a tweet, and it had like his notes on it, and it said Gomez was going to go straight down the middle, and to stay middle, he went down the middle, and De Gea dived out of the way. He would have, if he had just listened to his fucking notes, he would have saved the penalty, and we would have won. I'd hope he'd be able to save a penalty that's straight down the middle, but you never know.
Yeah.
But saying that, Henderson has obvious weaknesses as well. I don't think he's much more commanding in his box, but his shot stopping is much worse, in my opinion, and his handling can be a bit dodgy at times. But yeah, honestly, I get rid of both of them and just bring in Oblak or Donnarumma. To be honest, they're both fucking, like, they both have serious weaknesses. I don't think either of them are good enough anymore. But if I had to keep one, I'd probably just keep De Gea, because I think Henderson holds more value, being English and being younger.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, that was just that whole, like, the not winning the trophy thing is obviously a big thing over Ollie's head. Luke, finally, before we move on to Champions League final, we've been going for a long time now. Like, is this with Ollie? Like, do you think this is like a mental thing with this team and Ollie, that, like, not being able to win a trophy? Obviously, before it was semi-finals, and then they got to a final and they lost. Do you feel like it is inevitable you will win a trophy, or do you think that, like, there's something missing from, not from the team? Obviously, we know the things missing from the team, but like from Ollie's side of it.
Yeah, I think there's something missing. I mean, you see the performance in the final. I mean, Villarreal makes 6 subs. Ollie, he makes 1 in the 100th minute. Like, that's not good enough. Like, we're talking about we need squad depth, but Ollie doesn't want to make substitutions either way. So that's a problem. I think we should have known better. I mean, we lost 3 or 4 semi-finals in a row, and then we get to a final and we think, oh yeah, we're going to win this. We should have been expecting to lose, because at the end of the day, this team is just a bottling team.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really difficult for Ollie to win a trophy now, because we're in the Champions League next season. There's not going to be any of this tin pot Europa League unless we fail in the Champions League again. City are obviously part of the FA and Carabao Cups, and they go for them every year. And in the Premier League, I can't see us winning that next year. So, like, I struggle to see where the trophy is going to come from for Ollie, and we're not going to be waiting around much longer. Like, he has to win a trophy next season, otherwise there's no progress. He needs to go. So it's last chance saloon for Ollie, I think, next season. I'm not taking a second place finished or any semi-finals or finals. If there's no trophy next season, I think we got to move on to somebody else, because he's had enough time now to prove that he can win a trophy, and he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I agree. I just, before we move on to, we'll move on to Chelsea City, the Champions League final now. But yeah, I think that season, at least, even just a League Cup or something, he needs to target one competition, because and I think we're overlooking the failure. Like, you shouldn't be in that competition anyway. Like, why would you win that competition? Because you failed in the Champions League, and that's something to look at. But all things considered, like, all he deserves is a 5-year contract. Let him have it, in my opinion. Let him put whatever he wants on him. Because he's a fantastic manager and I want him to stay. On to the Champions League final of Saturday night. Guardiola, he's done it again. You know, see, this is the problem, right? If you look at Jose Mourinho, he doesn't lose Champions League finals, 2 from 2. But Guardiola lost this one, you know, he's a bit of a fraud. But all seriousness, like, can we start with the team selection? What was he doing? Like, I don't know who I was talking to. I wish I fucking said it to you. But I said, like, I can't see why or how a false 9 kind of style would work against Chelsea. Like, there's no one occupying the centre backs. So Aspilicueta, so what was happening was, so you know the way, like, obviously we know Guardiola likes to push the full backs in. Zinchenko's coming narrow. But the whole point of that is to create an overload, like on the attacking end of the pitch. But what's happening was Aspilicueta didn't have to mark anyone because there was no striker there was no one. So he was able to push up on them and they were able to get back in shape. I was like, what was the point in that? Like, there was just too many players in too many similar positions for City at that time. And then Charlie, the thinking behind not starting Fernandinho and Rodri. Actually, Connor, I want to ask you, because we were talking about this the other day. 59 of the last 60 games, Fernandinho or Rodri has started. Why do you think, what was the thinking behind not starting one of them? Obviously, look, we can say, in hindsight, it's easy to say it's a mistake, but let's try to get into the mind of Pep before the game. Why do you think you want to do that?
Well, like, I mean, if you look at the starting lineup, like, I think it's quite clear that he wanted to go for a very attacking team.
Yeah.
With like lots of creative players on. But he should have known, like, he's played City or Chelsea twice this season and lost both times. He knows that Chelsea are good defensively. He knows they're good on the ball of possession. And as you said, playing the false 9, you're literally letting them play out from the back every time. Like, Chelsea had so much time on the ball. They're literally able to pick out passes. Like, the amount of times that we saw the Chelsea wingers get in behind, even Werner got lots of space as well. And like, if you had a Fernandinho or Rodri in there to like break up the play in the midfield, I mean, Kante was that his last 5 performances in the Champions League have been man of the match, I think, in the knockout stages. Like, surely before the game you look at that and think you need to have. I would have had Fernandinho in there myself, or Rodri even.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to look at the like. I was listening to news talk the other day. I mean, not the other day, yesterday at work, and I think, like, it's very easy to say, like, look, we could have played Fernandinho. I don't necessarily think Fernandinho cut that out. To be honest, cuts out that goal. I think that's just really bad positional play from Zinchenko and the whole defense, including Ruben Diaz, by the way. And Van Dijk wouldn't let that happen, to be fair. But look, it's like, I think, for me, it was more the other end of the pitch. I know they created a few things. Like, Sterling had a chance. There was a few drag backs that Chelsea got away. But more specifically, Aspilicueta got away. He was fantastic. But apart from that, there wasn't that many chances. Charlie, on that, like, what do you think? Like, was there anything they could have done to make sure they could create more chances? Do you think maybe starting an actual number 9 would have helped? Do you think, I don't know, not starting Sterling? Like, I just can't think of many things that he could have done on the attacking end of the pitch that would have helped him create more chances. I just think the players didn't necessarily turn up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a poor performance. I'd say Mahrez has been the star man of this, like, Champions League campaign they've had going, and he got pocketed, really. I was disappointed in him. He didn't really have anything, really. He didn't beat Chilwell at all. He had that volley at the end, which was close, but I would have expected better from him. Foden didn't really get into the game. Gundogan, he looked a bit out of his depth there, to be honest. But I think if you're asking why he didn't play a renowned centre defensive midfielder, I think it might be because Chelsea, they kind of play these inside forwards instead of, an out-and-out number 10. So maybe he thought, like, the fullbacks should be able to, like, go in, follow them. We might not need someone to occupy the middle spaces, considering Werner's going to be going in behind anyway, so there won't really be anyone dropping in there. But obviously, I think he still should have played Fernandinho. I mean, like, whether this was an experiment for next season, whether you could get away with it. Like, you can't really be doing that in a Champions League final, can you? Like, and I think Rodri, we don't like him here. If he's played Gundogan because he thinks Gundogan can progress the ball better than Rodri, does that not make Rodri a flop?
Yeah,
Because,
obviously,
like,
no.
Rodri
thing, you know what?
can't do anything else. Yeah,
it's Pep fan. So Pep obviously is in love with Rodri for some reason. So that means that everyone, oh, this he's a good player. That makes him a good player. What's he do?
Yeah, I don't
if,
even think Pep trusts him. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't play him in any of the big games.
Yeah, what's the point of having him when he's not? Is he not meant to be there to do what Gundogan was?
He doesn't even progress the ball. Like, when I watch it, it's just sideways and backwards and lack of mobility.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks good. He looks good when they've capped the team on the edge of the box and he's pinging passes left and right. But I could fucking do that. I'm rubbish at football. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you actually hit the nail on the head there. Why wouldn't he start if that's what he was asking Gundogan to do? That makes him a flop anyway. So.
Like, if you compare him to Jorginho, like, Jorginho actually progresses the ball, and he does make like more interceptions and more tackles. Rodri he kind of just stands in the middle and gets played around. If we're being honest, no one seems to really notice it because he's not even quick enough to get in and miss the tackle. He doesn't even get there in the first place. So everyone's just there like, he's just a pass merchant, really, like tempo merchant.
False Night Podcast exclusive. We were right about Rodri. Like, we were correct about Rodri. He is a flop. Luke, what was I ask you again? There's something on City. Oh yeah. Do you think, like, Gundogan's obviously the best goal scorer midfielder apart from Foden, but like he obviously had that run of form where he was scoring loads of goals. You know, like, not playing him further up the pitch, I think that was also a weird mistake that Pep made. And just to add to that, like, Pep obviously has a history of overthinking it. Why do you think he overthinks it too? So the first question obviously is why do you think Gundogan wasn't played further forward? And secondly, why do you think he overthinks it so much?
Okay, first of all, I think Pep was trying to please too many players. I think Raheem Sterling should have been left out 100%. I mean, he's a big game bottler. He's been terrible, really. I don't know why Pep started him. That's a really poor decision off the bat. Gundogan, I think he's been brilliant further forward this season, but I think because Sterling was in the team, he had to try and jig it around a little bit, and that's where Gundogan ended up. Obviously, he was really poor there. I think it was a terrible decision to play in there because Mount and Havertz, or even Ziyech, if he had played, we know they all operate between the lines, so there was always going to be two men in there, and Guardiola just neglected that. So that was really poor from him, and I think there might be an element to it that Guardiola was trying to like prove to people that I can change it around here and I'll still win, because I have a history of overthinking, but I'm going to do it again and I'm actually going to win this time. But he had 2 trial runs against Chelsea and he played this high line. They got beaten twice. I just don't understand why they did it again. Like, they gave Werner free space to run into. Like, Chelsea, if you watch them this season, they're really, really bad at creating chances against teams that sit a little bit deeper. And City just come and play right into their hands, playing up on the halfway line. It's just terrible tactics from Guardiola, really.
Yeah, you've touched on it there. Like, they played on Chelsea's terms. City have been so good that their success in recent years on the Pep is that they play on their terms, and that's how they beat teams. And he changed it because he wanted to facilitate what Tuchel was doing. That's not what you do. You play on your terms. You go dominate the game. And you win the final. Just something from the Athletic that I've just seen. So, like, we were talking about keeping players happy. Gabriel Jesus doesn't like the fact he doesn't play big games. Cancelo wants to leave again, and Rodri and Bernardo Silva are looking to leave as well. So, or they're contemplating their future anyway. So, as you're saying, he's trying to keep players happy, and maybe that's one of the downsides of having a massive squad. But yeah, like, just on Chelsea now, I was wondering about Connor. Like, that they're obviously City had their downsides, but they were fantastic. I thought yesterday. Not yesterday, on Saturday. Defensively, just superb. I think Christensen, in fact, Thiago Silva got injured. He came in. He's been out for a while. He came in, and that was a brilliant performance.
Yeah, no, we've known this. I think you mentioned it earlier as well. Chelsea's defensive record and conceding under Tuchel is it's been like excellent. Like especially since when Lampard was there, like they used to concede left, right, and centre. I think up front as well, like they just look like they're a good balanced team. I think Kante was neglected previously. He's finally found form again, and we all know like how good he is. He's literally won everything there is to win. Always gives 100%. And up front as well, we even saw Pulisic came on, and I think he got a chance just after he came on. He tried to dink it over Ederson, and it went just wide. They hit the side netting once or twice as well. I mean, Chelsea could have scored more goals there, and defensively, like they didn't look like they were ever going to concede. If we're honest, like Azpilicueta, like he literally put his body in front of absolutely everything. And I think, as you said, Rudiger as well. Like the whole defense, it just Tuchel has made them into not just sort of like they play really well as a unit now. Everyone is sort of knows what their role is now, and it's not like under Lampard they're kind of running around. They didn't really know what to do, but you can even see Tuchel like encouraging them, like shouting and screaming, like literally in the 90th minute. And he's doing that constantly reminding people of like what they need to be doing. Whereas previously we've just seen like Lampard would have just been sitting down, just watching the game. And I think he's built a good relationship. He seems to be put a lot of trust into the players, and they're repaying that back by putting in quality performances. And as we said, if they get a couple of signings this season or this summer even, like they could genuinely be title contenders next season.
Well, Lukaku is a possibility for them. So we're fucked, basically. If they get Lukaku, we're finished, man. They just need a
big run back.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah. Fair play to them.
They have to abandon Roadrunner FC, though. Werner. I mean, can we talk about him for a sec? Like, how long can we say he's unlucky? He's atrocious.
He's embarrassing.
He can't finish. Like, you could put Daniel James up front and he'd do his job.
Yeah.
Like, it was like if they had lost that final, there was blood on his hand. Let's be honest.
Yeah, 2 huge chances at the start of the game. Really poor. Like, I'm sorry. They paid so much money for him. Thank God we didn't get him. Oh my God, thank God. Thank God we didn't get him. Seriously. But yeah.
Can I just say I loved when I liked the way Havertz scored. Like I feel like Havertz, like he's kind of underperformed, but like he's finally gotten like his goal on big stage. Like he's really stepped up now. And same with like a lot of players. And even like you can see even in his remember we were watching his interview after with BT, and he was just delighted with himself, and it's good to actually see him playing well. Like I do feel a bit sorry for Werner, but like he's like it's not
he's trash.
Like there becomes a point when you can't feel sorry for him anymore. Like he's just not good enough. But as like the rest of the team, like even Ziyech, like I think he's actually been decent enough when he actually gets to play.
So one player before we finish. We'll touch on Kante. I think he's got like 4 man of the match awards in a row in the Champions League. He's won the Champions League. If he wins the Euros, could he win the Ballon d'Or? That's Luke. Do you think he could win the Ballon d'Or?
I think first half of this season he wasn't great, but obviously that's not part of this calendar year. So if Ballon d'Or is supposed to be judged January to December, so since January he has been world class, and he's going to have to keep putting in those types of performances he's put in the Champions League and the Euros, and probably until at least November to be in with a solid shout. But I think he's got a lot of PR since the final, and rightly so, because he's a nice guy, but he's going to have to keep performing at a really high level, because the sort of numbers Lewandowski and Messi are putting up, it would be kind of harsh to take the Ballon d'Or away from them. But Kante is a very unique player. I don't think anyone can replicate what he's doing at the moment. So if he keeps performing and getting man of the matches in most of the Euros games and France win it, I think he'll be the favourite.
Yeah, for sure. Just before we finish up, I just want to go through our Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year for the Premier League, and just for the for the Premier League team. So right, Player of the Year for me, Harry Kane. Young Player of the Year, Ruben Diaz. He qualifies. But yeah, Luke.
I was going to say the exact same as you, actually. I
Charlie.
think Kane, you can't take away the Player of the Year from Kane. He got most assists and most goals. So like
so dumb
in a shit team as well. So he deserves Player of the Year.
I'd probably go for Kane, and I don't know if Mount qualifies for young
He does.
player, but I just give him, I give it to him. He might not have like unreal numbers, but if you watch him play, he's just unreal, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, like I definitely go with Kane as well. Like, I mean, if you like, he's literally playing in a Mourinho team for most of it, who are like notoriously defensive, and the numbers he's put up are just incredible. And then I'd say for Young Player of the Year, I mean, if Lingard qualified for Young Player of the Year, I'd go with Lingard just because I love Lingard. He's a great player. But I'd possibly go with Diaz. Like, I know he didn't perform in the final, but like he's been so solid.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one that he came in and people were kind of like, oh, like he'd probably be solid enough. But like, I think he has been world class apart from a couple of games.
Yeah, he's been class.
I just think with Diaz, like, if you had just went with Laporte and Stones, I reckon City would have won the title as well. Like,
of course,
it wouldn't have been. Yeah, so like that's
fair,
why I didn't go with.
Mount isn't a bad shout. Like, even if you think about like the goals he's scoring for England now as well.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't mind to go with either of them, to be honest with you.
So
I think Foden deserves a shout as well.
He does. He does.
Yeah,
he's gonna be one of City's best ever players, I think.
Yeah, he'll get it. He'll get it eventually. So yeah, just before we run out of time, I just want to thank the lads again. It's been a decent season all around. I haven't enjoyed a major part of it, but I'm happy Liverpool got top 4. Thanks again. Subscribe, send to all your mates, like all that stuff. And the Euros and Copa America's coming up, especially the Euros. We'll be doing a lot of content around this, so watch out for that. Yeah, thanks very much.